the game, the position, and how it's changed. When you started in the National Hockey League, there was a completely different style of play. And I look at the way goalies play now, and even the two guys that are here, Wally and Gus, and that block and slide. And I look at the way these three play. How has the position changed since you came into the league?
Definitely has. From my first year, I think I've learned to play on the post like 4 different ways. So it was, at some point I was just standing up on there. Then it was like the VH, right, one knee down, and then the overlap that helped out a bit, and then the reverse VH that you guys do now. So there's some adjustment along the way for sure. I think there was maybe goalies. Like when I came in, I was like fairly tall goalie, right, at 6'2", 6'1", right. And now, like I was just a low guy. There's so many like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" guys, So I think, and maybe the big guys back then too, they couldn't move as well. But I feel now goalies they're tall, they're athletic, they're quick, and also the position has evolved, and I think the goalies are better than they've ever been.
You wear number 29. A little birdie might have told me that it could be because of this guy. How much did you watch him when you were a little kid? And how much do you try to incorporate? Because I watch you play, and you're very, very athletic in that net. So what was the flower effect on your game as a kid?
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate growing up in Colorado. Watched Patrick Waugh for a long time, and then in middle school, high school, started watching Flower. And it was my junior, senior year of high school. I got to pick my number, and I went with 29 just because I loved like how much fun you bring to the game and how laid back you are, and it just is a good reminder for me that it's supposed to be fun. Like, we're out here playing a game. So that was always something I admired about you. And kind of like you said, I've learned to play the post like 5 different ways too. So it's kind of an advantage, I feel like, when you're an older goaltender and you can kind of pull out these things that maybe the forwards aren't expecting. Like, I've seen Maddie do some stand-up like pads together on the post sometimes, like be able to pull that stuff out is, I feel like it's an advantage when you've been in the league a while. And so I think like just watching you have fun, watching the way you play the game and compete really impacted me as a young goalie.
French Canadians are all brothers and sisters, and so I got to ask you, because we had a game a couple of seasons ago up in Montreal. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been in the game for 50. I've never seen anything like this particular night. This guy never played for the Montreal Canadiens, but a game that the Wild were playing in Montreal stopped for almost 10 minutes so that crowd could pay tribute to him in his last game in that area. Being that you're from that area, what is the impact that this guy has had on that community?
I mean, I'm from New Brunswick, which is beside Quebec, but obviously very French, born and raised. And obviously growing up, you look for role models, and the French Canadian role models, there's a lot of us, but it's a very small kind of community in general. So definitely looking up to the goaltending world, just like you did, and trying to see, who you aspire to play like, who you aspire to have those the way you play, to me, was very much so. Flower had that. I think it's a cool thing that you grow up, and for me, the French community was definitely something cool to get to say that, hey, there's somebody in the league that I get to look up to that speaks the same language I do and everything. So, for sure, it's really special. It's definitely a cool connection, and it's a bit bittersweet too to see somebody that's not playing anymore that you aspire to look up to all your life. So, but yeah, it's a very, very cool thing to now be across the table and get to talk shop.
Well, Maddie, and then I'll let you guys kind of take over, but the last one I want to tee you guys up with for part of this conversation is the pressure on a goaltender. Too much credit when you win, probably. Too much blame when the team loses. And there's never more pressure than when a championship is on the line. And the one thing that ties you guys all together, aside that you're world-class goaltenders and play professionally in championships and those moments, how during the day, but more specifically, Maddie, during the game, do you channel that nervous energy to bring out your best on the ice, because there's a ton of pressure?
Yeah, I think it's what we signed up for, the pressure. Goalies are a little weird. So for me, like, I get nervous before every game. I think that's obviously very normal, and it's how you can channel that energy. And for me, it's just staying in the present, not thinking too far ahead or worrying if a goal goes in. You'd have to have a short-term memory. And kind of like being out on the island back there. Like you said, it's a lot of pressure, but it's something that we can thrive into, and it's something I think we signed up for with the competitiveness of the position. So we thrive in it.
Laura, what did you do when you were a young goalie? When you first started in the National Hockey League, how were you able to bring out your best in your play and not let the pressure overwhelm you? And because when you play and when you're a first-round draft pick, a first pick overall, and you're in Pittsburgh and you're asked to be that guy, that's got to be a real tough challenge for a youngster.
I feel like yes and no. I was maybe a little bit dumb. I just went out and played. I was so excited to be on the ice, and obviously it was always been my dream, right, to play in the NHL and being on the ice with Mario Lemieux, taking a few shots in training camp and stuff. And but I had to learn though. I've had bad games. I've had bad stretches. Back then I would read the paper. I always read the paper, right? So. So I stopped doing that, and same thing with social media. I don't have any accounts or nothing. I never looked into it, but I think that's maybe one part of why I like trying to remind myself to have fun. And I've learned that I try to be serious and more intense, but then I was not playing better. I think I always played better when I could just have fun, relax, and smile, and then I would be more loose. I would react better, move better, and. I've broken sticks many along the way. I'm not always smiling back there, but I've been, saying bad words and being mad and stuff. But I honestly, I love the game, right? I love what I did for so long, and I try to enjoy most of it, and I think that helped me play better that way.
Start thinking of some questions, you three, for this guy, because it's not often you get to sit down with a Hall of Famer and a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. But before we get there, I have to tell the story because he always is this guy. He is as nice a guy as I've ever covered, as happy a person at the rink, always smiling, always enjoying the competition. But I will say this, there weren't many nights that it didn't go his way, but if it was a tough loss where there was a late goal, like an overtime goal or a shootout loss, his thing would be when he came off the ice, he's such a competitor. He couldn't keep it in. There were no kids around. It was just the team going into the locker room, and you know where I stand, kind of waiting to do my post-game interviews. I didn't know what he was saying because it was in French, but he wasn't happy. And it didn't happen often. And the other thing, before you guys get to your questions, I got to tell you one more Flower story because people ask me all the time, and we're lucky enough to be traveling on the bus, on the plane, in the hotel. So we were in Pittsburgh his last year with the Wild, and where the Penguins practice, and it was a practice day. It was in between games. There's a facility where there's a big rink and there's a little rink. So the Wild come over and we're going to practice, and the Penguins are on the main rink, which is fair. That's their rink, kind of like here, right? But there's another rink. So the Wild go practice on the secondary rink, and while we're practicing, the Penguins practice wraps up. And so after the Penguins practice wraps up, there are these like 9 or 10-year-old kids that have their practice, and I don't know if they were squirts or peewees, but they were little guys. And so our practice then, probably a little later, wraps up, and we have to walk from that second rink over to the first rink where our gear was stored, do the media stuff, talk to Coach Hines, blah, blah, blah. Well, we weren't paying attention. We were getting ready to talk to Coach, and they were bringing out some of the players, and all of a sudden, there's like this racket. And, there were fans that were allowed to watch, like we have at Trier sometimes. And all of a sudden, this guy's on the ice. And he's not just out there saying hello, like he's in the drills and he's practicing with these kids. So I can't imagine if I'm a kid in Pittsburgh and I'm on the ice and and they were doing showdown drills and 2-on-1s and he's double decking, the pads are stacked and these kids are going bananas, and their families, of course, what do? They all have their phones out, right? They're recording their kid on a breakaway with Marc André Fleury. It was one of those moments where it was very organic. It wasn't scheduled. He just saw a door, opened up the latch, and he was out there for half an hour. And it was spectacular fun for all of us. We got to watch the joy of the kids, and for all of us, the joy of the Flower, because he looked like he was having more fun than the kids.
Yeah,
so
always.
ask him questions. Anything goes,
Thanks,
taping the
Goalie.
stick. Oh, it was so much fun. These are memories that I'll cherish forever. Anyway, I'm done talking.
No, you're good at it.
Yeah, you are good.
Sometimes
My
too much.
tire is good always.
Too much.
I'll leave cocky. My head won't fit in the door when I leave. Too much.
Go ahead, ladies.
Okay, I've got one. So some of us are also getting up there in age. What's retirement like? What have you enjoyed about it? What do you miss about the game, the locker room, and all that stuff?
Yeah. I think the best thing for me is spending more time with my kids. You know, as you know, right, our schedule's always pretty busy. You know, even though when you're home, you're still skating in the morning, you're napping in the afternoon, you're playing at night, so you're not really seeing them, and then you're gone on the road a bunch. So having more time with them, to be there with, you know, take them to their sports, take them to different activities or their like Christmas recitals or whatever it is, right? So I think it's a good thing. Just be able to put them to bed, you know. I think that's a nice thing too. And then it's a good side. On the flip side, I don't know. I'm still searching. You know, I've tried different things. You know, to occupy my time a bit. But there's nothing like hockey. You know, there's nothing like playing. There's nothing like coming to the locker room with, you know, 20 people right in the room. You know, having fun and yeah. So it's the emotions, so that. Like I don't know, the competition, right, that you get when you go on the ice, even in practice, right? You try your best. You're playing against the best in the world, right? And you're in your league, so that's something I've missed, and the feeling of winning as a team. You know, I think, you know, when you win at the end, everybody comes, and it's such a happy place, right? Back in the locker room, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, you know. So definitely things that I miss a lot.
Mm-hmm. Were you like trying to replace? I've seen the video of you with the skeleton around Halloween. Are you trying to find some joy in the home decor section? You guys could bond on that.
Yep, big fan.
Did you have a tough time with that too?
No, I just like home decor.
Oh, boy, I don't know. It's my cup of tea so far. Those things are massive, right? Like,
Huge.
you know, you order them, they fit in the box, they're all like properly folded, right? And then you want to put them away, but it's just like, no way, this thing's folding back in the perfect way. Yeah, it was a little bit.
Well, he's a prankster. I got to ask you three, because his pranks are epic. They've gone viral to an unbelievable level. Who is the prankster on the Minnesota Frost?
We're pretty boring.
I think Britta a little bit. They just generally don't mess with the three of us, like, you know, with our stuff. But
I've seen the water under the helmets in the player.
water under the helmets, the stickers. Did somebody tape a gummy bear at the top of somebody's helmet? I was like, let's take a picture. Like, oh yeah, why are we taking pictures?
This guy takes the wheels off of cars and plants flowers on the hood.
Yeah, pretty epic.
Not every day, just that one time.
Where did you come up with that idea? We're talking about Brandon Duhaime, and Duhaime had it coming, and I was kind of connected to this set of pranks because we were in Boston, and Flowers having an unbelievable game. The Bruins were out shooting the Wild, probably like 44-25, and we ended up winning the game in overtime. But during the game, I'm asking Brandon Duhaime, like, you've got this guy, you know, late in his career that's able to kind of play like this. What's it like? And Duhaime, without any coaching on his own, said, well, it's pretty cool that a 50-year-old can go out there and still be this effective. And I'm like, oh, no, you didn't just say that, kid. You did not just say that. And then the interview continues, and he doubles down, and he says it a second time about the 50-year-old. Well, Flowers going to get word of this, and it's not going to end well for Duhaime. So bottom line is, through the set of different pranks, he gets traded to Colorado, and while the Wild are in Denver to play the Avalanche, I don't know how, I can't wait to hear, he literally has all four of the tires taken off his vehicle, and he plants flowers literally on top of his hood, a whole potted set of plants on the hood. How did you do it?
Usually I always say it wasn't me, but I got caught a little bit. So then I guess I was there. I had some help though. A couple guys helped me, which I cannot name.
No, of course not.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Because remember he got traded and then they played in Minnesota, and he got my car though with like a bunch of toilet paper.
He did. He TP'd the car. He mummified your car for sure.
That was well done. You know, a lot of respect for that. But then I don't know if you forgot we were playing them, you know, a couple of weeks later, and so we got in late the night before the next day because we're playing on the road or something, and he was having practice that morning. So then I get up early. I took an Uber to Home Depot, and then I got like some cement blocks, some flowers, the dirt there, is it the wrench? What do
Yeah.
you call it? To take off the tower. I got a lifting.
The
and
lift
then-
thing. Yeah, the
Yeah,
thing
the
with the
lift.
thing with the
Sounds
crank.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you.
Um,
Oh yeah, to lift the car up.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you have a
jack.
flat tire.
A jack.
I'm too. Yeah.
A jack, yeah.
I call
Yeah.
AAA.
what's
I'm
like
worthless. But
What's the tool to like take off the bolts?
Uh,
I can't think of it.
Got me.
Beats
tire iron. There you go.
Tire
Thank
iron.
you.
Thank you.
Those
Jeez.
are good in the fight too. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. So and a couple chains. So I got to chain his tires to a fence, so until he apologized, and then. Well, then while we're doing this, like the Avalanche, they share the same rink as the Nuggets, right? So then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this tall guy comes in, like, he's massive. And he's like, hey, what are you doing there? I was like, oh, it's my buddy's car. We're good. But then he just laying around and they start laughing after a little bit. So that was good.
It was an unbelievable prank. So that's the Britta Curl. That doesn't surprise me when you watch her play. She kind of plays on that edge anyway. She can be a little naughty on the ice, so that's fair. Other questions for this guy? It can be anything about playing or the way. Like I don't even know if you guys have it. Like I double taped my practice stick because I wanted it to be heavier. So I got in the habit of keeping my. But again, sticks in my era were a little different than stuff you guys are using. Like I can't imagine how different the equipment is. But I mean, there's still questions you might have for him.
I've seen you make some crazy saves in your career. Is there one that stands out that was cinematic in your mind?
Cinematic. That's a good word.
That is a good word, by the way.
Surprised
Wow,
myself there.
that's pretty good.
Jeez. I think my most meaningful was like at the end of Game 7 one time when
Detroit.
The
Detroit,
dive
yeah,
pass.
just like double push and then dive on the side. It was a little, maybe not common, so that was.
Well, it's Game 7, 1-goal game on the road at the buzzer. I think all of us as young goalies dream about being in a Game 7, and then of course if we're dreaming up this scenario, we're going to make this crazy save at the end of the game. And one thing that strikes me, and it's iconic, I can picture the whole play develop. It was off a defensive zone faceoff, but we rarely go head first in desperation. We're always flipping out the pads and sliding, right? It was very abnormal to see a goalie go head first, but it was the right play because you got close enough. Who?
Lidstrom.
Oh, of all people, Lidstrom off the weak side, of course.
I just thought like he had a little bit of time, right? He had to look at me, so I thought he wasn't going to shoot low, and so that's why I wanted to cover a little bit above, and then it worked out.
Well, let's turn it around. Each of you tell us, y'all have one, right? Like one save in your repertoire that you remember. That okay, I made this save. I want to hear about it.
I mean, I feel like there's accumulation of saves. I know for me, I haven't had that Game 7 at the pro level save yet. I think that one's still in the barrel, so that's exciting to know. But I mean, in college, you make these saves that I think sometimes you almost shock yourself
Yes.
in the best way possible because you don't want to admit that you shocked yourself because you obviously are the one doing the save. But I think the nice thing is when you see the play develop quickly enough and you can kind of mess around and you kind of can anticipate where the puck is going to go, I think is when you can mess around and throw a glove. Yesterday you did one where Decker was coming down and it was the most predictable play from a goalie standpoint, and Decker is just coming down with the biggest slap shot and you just throw both an arm and a leg in the air and you make that save. I think those are just really fun to have when you can do them at the right time. So I think we all have those. Definitely like a cross ice split save, getting the glove and just getting to flare a little bit, and everybody coming to you, with those crazy eyes like, oh my gosh, how'd you manage to do that? Those definitely always hit hard, and they're always memories that you cherish forever because it's pretty cool. It's a cool position we get to be in, and it's a cool thing that we get to do that not many people do, and it's, I don't know, part of, I guess, why we all play the sport we do in that position. But yeah.
Great answer. What's one of your favorite saves? And it can be any level. It can be pro, through college, through little, whatever.
Yeah, well, I think actually talking about your save just now, I had a save against Boston earlier this year that was like very similar coming across, and she had a second, and I threw my body that way. It was like the exact same direction too, and in the moment I was like, this looks like the Fleury save in the finals, and I actually when I got off the ice, talked to our goalie coach Pete about it later. He goes, channel in your Marc André out there. Yes, like if you knew, then And yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's
but
crazy. Sometimes you have like just a little bit, so little time, right? But you have a lot that goes through your head,
there's
right?
so much going
Like
through
you have
your head
time, like you're
sometimes.
diving, and like,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
say, oh, I've seen
Yeah,
this.
or like you're saying, like when you know what's about to happen, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can put some flair on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
glove save right here. Like that's
Yeah,
that's
you have
what
to.
Like it
Oh,
still
yeah.
happens quick, right? Like
Yeah.
it's coming to a clapper and stuff, but you still.
Yeah.
Love
Yep,
to get
you're like,
that.
I gotta flare it. She's like, she'll roll her eyes and laugh at me, but
Loves
I'm
the
like, no,
attention.
I'm going for it.
That's like Gus too. Like Gus.
Oh yes.
Small little, he plays like this too, but like Gus is so calm, cool, calm, collected, right? Like and doesn't move too much, and he's awesome, so consistent. But then he sees me going, he's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
It's so foreign to him. Like it's so different because
Yeah.
you're right. He plays that just structured, safe. Like it's
Yeah.
very, it's his style. It's his block and slide. He's a bigger guy, and we've talked about it because when Flower first came to Minnesota, he was super young, right? He knows this guy he's got all the cred, so he was trying to be Flower, and you guys know this. You can't be somebody else. You got to play to your strengths, and so Freddie Shabbat, the goalie coach, has talked about that, and Gus has talked about it too. Like he had to kind of rein some of that in and still get back to who he was because he was trying to go out there and not all guys can pull that off or gals. So how about one of your saves?
A lot of those come unintentionally for me. I play a little chaotic. I like to think I've matured over the years in my style of play, but I think one that comes to mind was in 2018, a gold medal game. We were on the penalty kill in overtime,
I remember.
and it was a rebound to the back door, and I just threw like the paddle out, and she hit it. Like she thought she scored, hands went up in the air, but got a paddle on it, so we knew the hockey gods were in our favor that day.
That's a good feeling though, right? When you the how mad they get, or like they think they scored, and then they keep playing.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
I think the paddle save is front and center right now because of Sunday, because of Hellebuck.
Yeah.
Those are the saves where we all played the position long enough to know when we're beat, right? And when you're making a paddle save and you're diving back, you're basically, it's a 5% chance you're going to get that puck anyway. So you're like, you're right. They're ready to raise the sticks and celebrate, and we're ready to dig the puck out of the net. And all of a sudden, you get that paddle back, and it's like stealing one. It's no different than scoring a goal. Like, you're taking a puck literally out of the net. It's a game-changing save. And to look back Sunday at Canada and U.S. and to know what that game came down to, that save's going to live on forever. There are T-shirts being made as we speak with that save, just like there was with that save that you made in Game 7 on Lidstrom. And so that's the beauty of our position. And so were you guys watching both the women and the men in the gold medal games? And I don't know, even though I'm super old, I still try to put myself in that crease, right, and feel what they're feeling, because to your point, you'll get there someday. You miss those feels. So how did you guys digest both the women and men's goaltender performances? Because they both were great, I thought, in those gold medal games.
Yeah, just thinking of Hellebuck's performance, because that's top of my mind. Like, just hearing the energy in that building, too. The crowd through the TV, like, it was probably an unbelievable feeling in that arena, and the saves that he was making, and even, like, seeing his teammates talk about post-game, like, how we won because of him. He was definitely the MVP, and, like, that's kind of just what being a goalie is. You can steal games, even if it may look like the other team is outplaying you. It all comes down to the goalie.
Do you guys feel like when you watch the games and they're tight games, they're overtime games like we saw in both those contests, do you try to put yourself mentally in that spot where you're like, man, I would love to be there right now in that crease? You're like, or are you like, no, I'd rather be on the couch? Because I'm torn.
I think I just naturally watch as a fan, especially of the women. Like, we knew obviously so many people there and know Erin really well. So I think we all felt pretty good having Erin in net, like how it was going to go. But I just more watch as a fan because you're so nervous for your friends and you want them to do well. And it's kind of the exact opposite of how I would feel if I were playing in the game. I feel like when you're out there and you're so in the moment, like you don't feel I don't know what the parents or the fans are feeling like that. But when you're just watching it have no control over what's happening, that's when I get anxious watching. Even like when she's playing and I'm not, like I'm like but
Yeah.
like yeah, that's how I just naturally watch games as a fan and just like enjoy it because we spend a lot of time in the net, knowing what that feels like. So I think when you're out, it's just like more of watching it as a fan.
Do you know Debian?
Yeah, she was my goalie partner first year. I played in Montreal first year.
Okay, I got to tell you guys a quick story. I got to digress a little bit because she was in town to play you guys about a month and a half ago. She had an unbelievable game. She's a really, really good goalie, as we all know. And so I talked to the Montreal PR person. I said, I'd really like to talk to your goaltender. She's like, great. She's awesome. She comes over. She sits down next to me. You do the post-game interview. You hunker down on the bench together. She talks like this guy. So I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So one of my questions was, because she's very athletic as well. She plays kind of that style, right? Mm-hmm. And so I said, I'm just going to take a hunch here that maybe you grew up watching fellow countryman Marc André Fleury. You're in this building where he starred for a handful of years. How much impact did he have on you? And she had this big smile on her face. She had that gorgeous French-Canadian accent, which I just eat up as a hockey fan. And she loved that I brought up your name and in this conversation to her game. So I'm going to bring this all back to you because I looked at Canada and the men's side being heavily favored to beat USA. The women's side was just the opposite, where the USA was dominant leading up to the Olympics, had beat them 5-0 in the prelims, and here's this Debian playing unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So when you're watching that game, that's got to be extra special for you because she was your goalie partner. You guys are like sisters.
Yeah.
So what was that like watching the women's game?
It was definitely a unique game. I think it was one of the most unique feelings I had watching a game because we have 6 teammates on the American team. So you kind of want them to come home happy and not sour. But then you also, like for me, I have so many teammates or ex-teammates that I have on the Canadian side. And of course, I'm Canadian. So that's my core who I'm cheering for. So it was definitely a bittersweet game. I mean, luckily, the score was much tighter than it had been in the prelims, which I think we're all happy for because it made for a more competitive game. But I would echo, like, you watch it almost as a fan where you know the talent pool is incredible. And at that point, you just see, okay, which one of our friends are going to make the difference maker? And you just know that it's the best talent in the one ice. And it's just a question of, okay, who's going to show up? Who's going to do the work? And, of course, Debs, you know that she's a consistent goalie. And you know she's going to put up a phenomenal performance. Same thing for Erin. So it was very much still going to be a tight game. Yeah. If they had their best game forward, which they did, alongside a lot of the players on the ice that brought their best game. So from that standpoint, I think I just enjoyed watching the game. It wasn't a question of, wanting one team to do better than the other, just knowing the talent pool that was there. So for me, it was just about enjoying the game. And obviously my ex-teammates really kind of making sure that they had a good time was something that I really enjoyed watching.
You mentioned how much you missed the game, and we've had multiple conversations, and he's still out there practicing once in a while because he loves it so much. But what about coaching, Marc-André? Is that something that you've thought about? And clearly, goalies always, we kind of get landlocked into being goalie coaches. I was one day. You're all going to be asked to be one, and I'll guarantee, I'm sure it's already been approached. But have you thought about that?
Yeah, but no.
Not for you.
Not for me. I think, like I said, when you play, we're gone so much, and schedules are always so busy, and the coaches is even worse. They get to the rink before the players. They're on the computers. I'm not very much of a technical.
Me too.
Yeah, tech guy. So and they're on the computers, like cutting the clips and doing all the work, and then the guys leave, ready to go home, and then they're still the rink, like trying to figure it out and getting the team ready for the night game and stuff. Which I tip my cap to them, right, for all the good work they do. But I'm just not ready yet to maybe get involved that way. I got my 6-year-old son who's. I try to go coach.
You stole my thunder because my next question was going to be, if your son or daughters want to be a goalie, what does the dad, Marc-André Fleury, have to say about that?
Yeah. My girls will pass. They've tried, though. They've tried playing goalie.
No kidding?
Yeah. My son, but they didn't play very long. My son is 6 now. He's like 50-50 maybe. Playing forward, playing goalie.
Okay.
Yeah. But he doesn't listen to me. I tell, hey, do this, do that. He's like, see, I can't coach.
Listen to me.
No.
It'd be nerve-wracking. I've got friends that had kids that were goalies, and talking to my parents, my dad would come to the game, and he'd stand on the glass, whatever corner I was in, whatever, you go end to end, right? He'd come to that corner and he'd critique everything. my mom would sit up in the bleachers with the rosary, just hoping I wouldn't get hurt. That was just a different perspective that my mom and dad had watching. But there's a lot of pressure on mom or dad. Do you guys down the road, do you ladies see yourself wanting to be a goalie coach at some point?
I currently am a goalie coach in the off season because it's something that we have to make additional income just at the time being. So for me, it's an easy way to make additional income. I mean, if I get to be in the goalie brain year round, sign me up. So to me, I've been actually goalie coaching for quite some time now since I graduated out of college. So out back, I'm currently living in Calgary and have been for 5 years. So I do very extensive coaching there. I coach for the local association. I'm one of the head goalie consultants, and I do a lot of coaching from a distance, mentorship, video analysis online, things like that. A little bit more.
Of course, now with technology, you can literally take game footage or practice footage and sit down via Zoom and work with your goal. How old are the kids you work with?
They're anywhere from U11 all the way through college.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty impressive. It's nice. It's a nice array when you get the technology down. It works pretty
That's
well.
the hard part for me.
Yeah.
Sure
For me
them.
too, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I do. That's the main thing I do outside of playing.
Oh,
Now,
good
during
for
the
you.
Stampede, though, you shut that goalie thing down, right? The Stampede's sacred up there, right?
Actually, this year coming up, I'm running a hockey camp during the Stampede, so we'll see how that goes.
Parents are going to be inebriated. That'll be good for you. Coaching down the road, I mean, I know you're still in the heart of playing and winning these championships, but down the road, is that something you would see?
I mean, we have a camp right now in the summers that Minnesota Futures. We'll get a little
Shout
plug
out.
in there.
Nice.
Yeah, so we've put a camp together and have been doing it for 3 years now. So that's one way. And like you said, I've just kind of done it since college, make a little bit extra money. I've coached like 5-year-olds all the way up through like Division I college goalies. So it's really cool to watch the kids light up when they learn something, or when you do the like try goalie for the first time and you finally get a kid to like catch a puck and they get so excited about it. It's really cool. It just kind of brings you back to when you were that age and learning it and getting so excited when you do things well.
Cool. What's the name of it again?
Minnesota Futures.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
So everybody knows.
Yep.
Which rink do you do it out of? Or are there multiple rinks?
Andover.
Go
right now.
Huskies.
Of course, back to Andover, of course. All right, final one for all four of you, and then we'll wrap this thing up. This Sunday, the Wild are going to be playing the St. Louis Blues, and for me, as a sideline reporter and analyst, I always love the storylines that come around with these games. Well, Ryan Hartman and Jordan Bennington have had a history here of some bad blood, and we nearly got to see, because of that bad blood, a goalie fight with my guy, Marc André, trying to skate the length of the ice to give a little tap to Bennington, and the refs ruined all the fun. My question to you four, and Flower, we'll start with you, was there a player that you had a constant conversation with, a competitor, right? Somebody you were playing against that you, I don't want to say it was bad blood, it might have just been in good fun because you were always a pretty good-natured guy in the blue paint, but every time you'd play that team or that player, there was a little extra juice, a little extra conversation.
Yeah, there's been a few, a lot probably. Guys talk more maybe than people expect. But I think Ovi maybe might have been one of the consistent
course.
ones. Yeah, he always comes by. Like, the play goes the other way and goes, "I'm gonna get next one, Flower. Get ready," and then he goes away. Or, "Oh, you got lucky on this one. I'm coming back. I'm gonna
love
score."
that.
Yeah. So we just always like little chit chat a bit,
Well, you guys had some epic battles, too.
We did, yeah.
playoffs
We
and
had so
everything.
many, big games against each other. We played so many times, and he scored a lot on me too.
Scored a lot on everybody, let's be honest.
Yeah, maybe that
Greatest
too.
goal scorer in the history of the game. Okay, I'll start now with you. Is there a player that you converse with? I know I've watched you on game days. You're super quiet. So maybe not, but maybe.
Yeah. I don't really have any conversations with anyone. I kind of keep to myself. But you always know, like, when those physical players are on the ice, the ones that are going to come through the crease and give you a little extra push or after the whistle or something. So head's always on a swivel. And, every, 5 taps, maybe I'll get up and, act like I'm going to do something. Maybe someday.
You're super quiet, though. I respect that because when I'm around the teams that I cover, everybody's got their way of doing things, right? And he was, if he was playing, hey, how you doing, man? He'd tap you or whatever, give me a little stick, but, you're locked in. You're super quiet. So I would imagine that kind of carries over to the net. You're not as quiet. You're quiet. You're intense. No, but you're a little more willing to chirp, I would guess.
Flag. She's more quiet than I am.
Really?
Yeah. Maddie.
No chirping.
Well, yeah, if I come to the bench when I'm playing, like, I might say like one word to Maddie, like that was lucky, or like whatever, something like that, and she just like hands me my water bottle and knows that's about it. But we'll talk about her aunt's always on the screen with like her sign, and I was like, oh, did you see Aunt T up there? Like,
Just talking about people in the stands or.
Well, and that helps, I think, ease the pressure, right? That when you can have that goalie tandem that can ease the pressure of the situation, that's probably a good thing. But any other players try to get in your mix?
I feel like all the years we've spent practicing with so many different people, I thought you were gonna say Abby Rock with like
Yes.
your run-in earlier
Yeah,
this year.
play that clip this year.
Abby Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Abby's obviously a talker, and she's a great player, likes to be physical and all that stuff. So I feel like, and just knowing her so well for so long, that she's kind of one that I don't actually say anything to her, but after the game I like to give her a little jabs and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Now, you've got a weapon because not all these players speak French. So you can come at them in all different ways. Over the years, going back to college, maybe even before that, was there one player or a player, maybe even now in practice?
I mean, there's definitely a handful. I was going to turn it back to our team and our practice because we practice so much together. So there's always going to be those couple girls that like to get under your skin and just have fun. I think Klara Himlerova is one of the secret chirpers on the team.
Really?
she's one of our Czech girls, so she's definitely got the thick accent. So I think it makes it a little bit more, impactful or hilarious or easy to roll off your shoulder. But she's definitely one of those that you love to mess with a lot. And over the last couple months, actually, I kind of started to mess with her more. Like she'll come down on a break, she'll be in front of the net, and I'll go for the puck, but I actually try to get her to skate and get her to fall or something. And she'll turn around and she'll say some very selective words, and you just know that you can have fun with them. So she's definitely the one that, as of late, has been my target, and I know it's very much so reciprocated. So she's one of those that, I like to mess with for sure.
Now, I would have guessed Heisey because it feels to me, and I've got a good chance to know Taylor the last couple of years between her and Parker. They're great people, and I really enjoy. I've done some radio shows with them. I've done some interviews at the rink, blah, blah, blah. But is she a chirper? Because she's a great player. She clearly knows how to put the puck in the net, but none of that with you guys.
Not to me. I don't think she's very much of a chirper at all. She very much so just is in her own world as far as I'm concerned. But I think the way that we internally chirp her within us is she does a lot of plays very particularly, and over the time we've had with her, I think we are easily comfortable at predicting what she's going to do at this point. So I think it's more so she'll go down and two of us will be kind of hanging out if ever we're out of one end, and we'll just nudge and say, hey, she's going, and we know exactly where she's going, and of course she goes there. So I think internally we get to mess around with that. But no, she's not really a chirper. I think she's more so, she's Heisey. She just gets stuff done.
That's Zum.
That's Zum, yeah.
Yeah. Zum's really like, we go at each other in practice, count like goals against versus saves, like all that stuff, and we have some fun with it. Yeah.
Who was the Wild player in practice that you most enjoyed shutting down?
All of them. I let them know too. That's why I'm like surprised you guys will don't have too many battles or or
you had Eck. Eck is always trying to put pucks in the net. Like he'll stick around.
Zuki too, always.
You guys know when the drill's over. Like if it's a drill where they're getting a 3-on-2 or 2-on-1, they get a look or two, and then the next wave is coming in, and there's always that teammate that keeps on, and then you're distracted because you're not going to let that teammate score, and then the next group is coming. You're like, come on, man. And I always watch Eck and Zuki, both those guys.
They do it.
Kirill too.
Kirill too. They went at the blue line and they shoot pucks in your feet while you watch it.
I hate that.
You look at them, then they celebrate. I'm like, you piece of
Or we have a couple that love to come down on a 1-on-0, and they love to do just chopping salad in the crease and just going one way, and it's so ungame realistic. And to us, it's like, in what world do you have 30 seconds to just mess around, and you're just like a fish in the crease trying to get it done. So we have some of those girls. You have Kelly in the mix, you have Jiggy, you have
Kelly's a good one.
Zummer.
Kelly for sure, right? Yeah. She strikes me as somebody who would try to get under your skin a little bit.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I have a question. How many sticks do you go through in the season?
Oh, wow. Good question.
Depends how much I suck.
Yeah, you never broke them during the game. You broke them after, like I said.
Usually.
As nice a guy as he was, when things didn't go well, the swearing in French and then the stick slam is all I ever saw to that guy, but it wasn't very often.
I usually try to get like a new one when I play
Yeah.
ish, you
Yeah.
know. So, last year I didn't play a ton, so I didn't get too much. But then I would give some of the teams other players would ask me for sticks. So yeah, so maybe last year I gave a bunch away, but yeah, so I don't know, 1 new a game, and then use it in practice and stuff. So
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
you guys,
Probably, I don't know. For me, I like to have a new one when the game starts, and usually if that one has a couple puck marks, then it gets into a practice stick, and then that practice stick eventually becomes just like a dead stick. Because sticks nowadays are made like Lamborghinis. You can't drive them every day. You can just drive them on the special days, right?
Point.
So our sticks break a lot. So that's why I'm curious, because for me, my sticks break a lot. Like they break at the shaft from a shot and things like that. So on the men's side, I can't imagine how many sticks you would break, or just a dead stick, right? A stick that just gets the wrong chip, and all of a sudden you can't do anything with it outside of give it away or do something like that. But that's why I was more so curious as to how many you'd break, or unintentionally, I suppose.
I guess you do in practice. I skated with them about 3 days last week, and then I broke 2.
Okay.
So you never know, right? Like
yeah.
like you said, in the shaft sometimes.
Got a double tape. I'm telling you, go
Double
take
tape,
it back
yeah,
to
that's
the
what we
80s.
could do.
I would
Get it
double
all up.
tape that stick, and it was so heavy that by the time I got to the game, I'm like, oh man, I'm flying. This thing's like a feather. But our sticks were so much heavier. All of our gear was so much thicker and heavier and just awful. Like our chest protectors in the 80s were like a sweatshirt. And so when I would get done with practice, there'd be puck marks. Like I looked like a leopard. I had like puck marks everywhere. You guys don't feel the puck now, which I think is awesome. Or
I
do
mean,
you?
it depends. It depends how you choose to move. If you choose to really dive, then you choose to expose yourself.
Yeah,
And
that's
if
fair.
Puck goes in the wrong way, wrong time.
I was flopping a lot. I was a flopper for sure.
Flopping's fun though.
Flopping is
Flopping
so
is
much
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the game in the 80s. Our goalies weren't 6'5". It has changed. Like goalies on both the men's and women's side are clearly bigger now. We were littler in the 80s. I mean, Darren Pang, who's a great broadcaster at the national level for the NHL, he's 5'6". Like he's smaller than Spurge.
What's wrong with
Hope
5
Spurge isn't listening. Nothing's wrong with 5'6". But in the NHL, that was considered. I mean, his head wasn't over the crossbar.
They're digging a hole. Digging a hole right now.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. From the Walter Cup to the Stanley Cup, from the P-Dub to the NHL, you got to love goalie talk, and that's what we did here today at Tria Rink.